And Joel just played so respectfully. He never stepped on any of Adrian's guitars. There was never any discussion of removing Adrian's solos. But it's really toughened the record up. It really is like that, as I say, almost as if it's the crossover record from early Whitesnake to like the 87 album. It's really cool.
Well, so talking about that 87 album and, where we're at now with the Red, White, and Blues record, how do you take those songs? Because, listen, like, Mr. Coverdale, I'm 26 years old, and I've only been listening to this music for like 15 years. My parents introduced me to this stuff, and I'm so familiar with, those 80-sounding records, and I love the cannonball snares and the big hairy guitars and all that stuff. When you go in to, redo these records and these songs and put them together on these, on this collection of the Red, White, and Blue, and you want to update them, so to say, why do that? Because I think they're just so iconic, those songs, with the big 80s snare.
Jeremy, let me tell you, for you, and that particular cup of tea, you're getting that. You're just having the original remastered.
Okay.
So that original record, the same as on 87, the same on Slide It In, the same as, we still have to remix a lot of the Slip of the Tongue album. Coronavirus came in, baby, closed a lot of things down.
Wrecked everything.
But what I did want to do, and I mean with great respect, was to lose the 80s tinkly keyboards, which was much more a scenario of Keith Olsen. And my respect for him as a producer, the over-echoey snare. I mean, everybody thinks the Bonzo would have an over-echo. It wasn't. It was a room ambience that they used. They used a single mic dangling down a stairwell for when the levee breaks and Zeppelin 4. It was really, but all of that booming echo cancels other things out. I would love recording at Little Mountain. I would have loved to have recorded Cozy there, but I recorded at Little Mountain with Ainsley Dunbar, and we ended up opening like a loading bay to capture some of that big concrete fucking ambience.
Yeah.
And Denny Kamasi, who is such a clean player, when we did Coverdale Page, but the circumstance is it cancels other things out when you have that big pop. If you listen to the new mix of Is This Love, you could hear all the little innuendos of John Sykes' guitar playing, whereas you couldn't hear that before. You hear the resolve of John's amazing solo, whereas before it was just a wodge of notes in echo. And it was just of the time. That's the thing with my work. Having 5 decades of work behind me, I've worked with most of the technologies, starting off with 8-track demos before joining Deep Purple.
Your Fostex 2-track
Rolling Stones truck, and they're time capsules. I get that, but it's just too distracting for me. And I can't, like Joe Elliott, a mutual friend, I'm sure. And when I sent him the rock album, he said, "Oh my God, is that a different Sykes solo on Still of the Night?" I said, "No, you can just fucking hear it now."
Right. Okay.
It's cleaned up, and it was amazing for me to revisit this stuff with so many different musicians, so many different technologies over the decades, so many different engineers, so many different producers, mastering guys. They've all affected the sound of this thing. And the circumstance is, for me, a frustrated DJ, I sound like George Hahn. For me, a frustrated DJ, putting a Whitesnake mixtape together was so dissatisfying. Whereas I never noticed with other artists, but with mine, I went, "Oh fuck, the snare drum, Cozy snare's too boomy," compared to Ainsley's, or whatever. So my first instruction, once Christopher Collier, our mixer extraordinaire, came into our lives, I said, "This is beautiful. You've got a great handle on it." I said, "Now what we have to achieve is a consistent sonic identity," which one of the things is my voice, of course. And for many years, I would always mix my voice back into it. It's like early 70s records. The voice was just part of the band, And now you can hear I'm singing, "Is this love, not is this lunch?"
Yeah,
so that's a big improvement.
It's a lot more upfront and a lot more present.
But of course, there's nothing wrong with lunch. I mean,
and for the record, it's not that I don't like the new records. I was just saying that it's cool to hear the differences between them. And now the fact that you explained is saying that, the whole point of it and remixing the albums, remastering them was to elevate and really showcase the performance. That makes a whole lot of sense because you're absolutely right. That's exactly what it does. I was listening to Slow and Easy off the Blues album a while ago.
Michael Devin was always disappointed. Michael Devin and Brian Tischer were super rhythm section. In fact, Brian brought Michael Devin to my attention, and obviously he's 10 years plus now a Snake, a beautiful soul whom I love dearly. But he was always disappointed with the mix on the Forevermore album. He felt he was like kind of short-souled, which was really disappointing for me to hear. So we made a point of making sure he sounded great. I heard from Tishy the other day too, and he's thrilled with what he's heard. So, I'm sending all these guys the videos as they're coming out because they've never seen them,
Right.
It's from footage from shows, unseen footage from home video, et cetera, and everything seems to be working. We have a brand new guitar-based mix video of "Give Me All Your Love" maybe this week or next week.
Nice.
And we're going to hold back Too Many Tears for the Restless Heart box set. Even though I'm in love with the new mix.
Yeah.
And that's probably Too Many Tears. I think one of my favorite Adrian solo. Some of the work he did on Restless Heart was just glorious for me. The Take Me Back Again. Interestingly enough, Woman Trouble Blues and Take Me Back Again, two fabulous Whitesnake epics, were originally ideas that had Jimmy Page and I made a second album. And Adrian, of course, feasted upon them. And two of my favorite Vandenberg solos are "Take Me Back Again" and "Woman Trouble Blues." I think he plays magnificently on them. He's a great blues player, Adrian.
Yeah,
he is.
Terrific player. He is a super blues. Yeah, he's a super player. And you listen to those two and the solo on "Too Many Tears." Oh my word! Yeah, amazing. And of course, Derek's on there too, scorching his way through there. And Joel and Derek are on all I want to talk to Steve as well because I haven't had time. He's at a studio. A lot of people aren't blessed with a home studio, but Steve's got a super studio.
Yeah, he
I might ask him if he wants to do any, for the revamp slip of the tongue, if he wants to do any more. Adrian's really busy with, and I'm so happy he's got his name back. Can you believe all those years, guys? His former colleagues in Vandenberg wouldn't let him use his own fucking name.
That's insane.
Gee. And kept going on it. They kept losing case after case, and he still couldn't use his own fucking name. Yeah. So anyway, there you go.
But he got it back, and he brought in Ronnie Romero, and they made a great record.
Thank God. Yeah. Well, yes, indeed, and thank God. That was right. And we're still in good communication. I'm very happy he's in his 60s now. It was very lonely up there for a time.